Hi, happy Sunday, everyone. This is my second time trying to record this video because, to be honest, with the upcoming energy with this eclipse that we have on the 19th, I can't think. I really can't. I feel so it's different than, to me, the way that I see it and experience it, it's different than the veils just thinning. Because when the veils thin, it's like they literally disappear a bit or a lot, to where the density of the veil is almost literally becoming thinner. But this is different because I feel that the veil, and when I say the veil, I mean the separation between this dimension and other dimensions, this world, other worlds, this universe, other universes. It's the same density, but it's becoming wavy and stretched. Like I just see it becoming like what's normally like this line. I feel like it's becoming very wavy, but it's almost like tightening at the same time. So I don't know what that means. That's just how I feel it. I'm not really good at like conceptualizing that, but that's just how I see it and what I'm feeling. And I think because it's like kind of becoming wavy like that, it's maybe a bit more vulnerable for things to come through, because I am seeing certain things come through, energy, entities, spirits. I can't really think of what kind of word to use for what I'm seeing come through, but it's things that I don't normally see. And I see a lot of stuff. Like every single day, there's always like something coming through. But this time it feels a bit different because I almost feel like we're being like needed or something, like a reality is being needed and stressed and stretched, and it's becoming something else. Like if you're kneading bread, you're kind of creating this chemical reaction like within the bread. I feel like we're like becoming something different. And based on the cards I pulled, based on the energy leading up to this moon, the astrology, what we're going to learn, what we're going to realize on this eclipse is going to be huge. It's going to be really important. This is not centered there. It will be very important. Every eclipse is important. I think when we had the eclipses last winter during Sagittarius season, at least for me personally, it was like overwhelmingly positive. I felt like I kind of shot through that wormhole and became aligned with the path I was supposed to be on. And other people I had talked to as well, not everybody, but most people, it seems, had a pretty good experience. And then when we had the eclipses in the end of May and the beginning of June, it was really heavy. Everybody was like literally astrologically hung over, energetically hung over after that eclipse. Everyone was just down in the dumps and just like very heavy, just working through some heavy karmic stuff. I can't say for sure what I think this eclipse will be like overall. Just looking at the cards, feeling the energy, it's going to take some work. It's not just going to happen. We do get shot through that wormhole, basically leading up to that eclipse. It gets very, very intense, very chaotic. And then at the time of the eclipse alignment, we literally start on one side and we shoot through that wormhole and end up on the other side. So we learn like 10 years worth of lessons in a single moment, like instantly. So it's a lot. And normally we'll have this like integration period afterwards, I think. Looking at the astrology, it is in Taurus. The full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus means that it's going to take work. It's going to take hard work. And it looks like a lot of things are going to get flipped upside down that need to get flipped upside down so that we can not pick up the pieces and keep going, but we can look at things in a different way and shift our perspective. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll look at real quick the astrology leading up to it. I will talk about the astrology of the actual eclipse a little, but I'm going to do my live, so you can always check that out too, because it's a lot to get into. It's going to be interesting for sure. I'm excited, I think. I don't know. Okay, so this is today. This is today, yes, Sunday. Okay, so the moon just moved into Aries. We'll go over Chiron. That's always a little bit painful, followed by some healing, soul wounds being exposed. Tomorrow, Venus in Capricorn, which is, here. Venus in Capricorn is at 9 degrees, 20 minutes of Capricorn, will square Chiron. So this is a little bit before the fact because Venus is moving faster, of course. So Venus in Capricorn, which is already a bit critical, hardworking, dependable for our relationships, will square Chiron, the deep soul wound. So old relationship wounds coming up, it's deeper than that. It's childhood wounds. It's issues with how we give and receive love. Deeper than that, it's karma, it's karmic, it's generational trauma, that kind of stuff. Our relationships will probably trigger us to re-experience those things or to become aware of those things. But Venus is pretty stable right now in Capricorn. So our close one-to-one partnerships might be the foundation that we have as we start this really intense healing process and we start this work leading up to the eclipse. And we also have the sun in Scorpio right here, 23 degrees, 38 minutes of Scorpio, which will square Jupiter as well. So another square, this is tough, obviously. The sun in Scorpio, this is death and rebirth. This is living life on the edge, basically going back and forth between the absolute extremes of human existence. It's intense, it's psychological, it's mystical in a dark way, shadow work, shadow working, shadow workers. Forming this square to Jupiter, this is always going to be tough because Jupiter is this huge gaseous planet. So when you have the sun squaring, creating stress with Jupiter, this is explosions, it's combustion, it's issues, Scorpio issues, trauma, darkness, shadowy stuff, things that we don't want to face, things in our subconscious that we've suppressed. It's blowing up and becoming something huge. So it's intense. I would definitely watch your stubbornness if you can, because that's going to get you into trouble right now with all this fixed stuff going on, especially leading up to this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. Taurus is a fixed sign as well. So with all this fixed energy, it's really important to allow yourself to remain bendable and flexible and to try to allow yourself to see things in a different way. It's going to be hard because we're not really going to want to. We're just not feeling that right now because it's Scorpio season. It's about us. This is a self-serving sign. It's ruled by Mars. It just is. Scorpios can be wonderful healers, don't get me wrong. And they can be very, very dedicated to their family, to their loved ones. But it's rebirth and regeneration for the self. You can't do that for anyone else. You know, that's just the nature of the sign. So it is about us. It is about our death and rebirth. So even though you're going through that and it's for you, maybe just allow your mind to be a bit more pliable if you can, a bit more flexible, adjustable, changeable, a bit more mutable. Because Mercury is in Scorpio too. So we're not really in that space. It's like, this is what I think and forget all of you basically, because I'm going through my own thing. That's fine. But with all these squares and all this fixed energy that's coming up, it might get very sticky and very difficult, especially with the relationships too. There is also a T-square. We have Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, which they are both opposing Uranus, which is pushing out through Saturn. So again, the fixed energy, it's a lot. Pushing out through Saturn, I think it's important to remain flexible. Stay strong to your beliefs, but remain flexible because whatever you think, whatever you feel, it's going to manifest into reality real quick, whatever Saturn is involved. Or if it's just taking things way too far, which is the Scorpio specialty, Saturn's just not going to allow it. You know, and Saturn's in Aquarius, so he's feeling pretty rebellious, pretty open-minded right now. But if you take things like to that point, that's just too far. It's not helping you anymore. It's not helping anybody else anymore. It's just too self-centered, that kind of state. It's not going to help you right now. Saturn's going to crack down and just make your life really hard so that you can learn that lesson. On the following day, Sun in Scorpio will sextile Pluto. 24 degrees, 24 degrees. So sextiles are generally harmonious. It just takes work to make those 2 points work together. This is water and earth together, so that's generally a good thing. Water is really the only thing that can soften earth. Air can maybe move a little bit of earth over time, but it's really water that takes that very like structured, like hard stubbornness of water and like soothes it, softens it, and makes it again more pliable. So I feel like there's something with that. We're going into the dark place, but we're going to be rebirthed and end up on the other side, literally a new person. On the next day, Mars will oppose Uranus. So I think this is the point officially. So exact right here, 12 degrees, 12 degrees. I think this is the point where we start getting those realizations and downloads. So this is going to be the point 2 days before. You're probably going to feel it all week. I'm already feeling it, like I'm having such a hard time just thinking. But this will be the point when you start to realize those karmic things that will be important for you on this eclipse. And we will talk about the cards and everything too. There was definitely a lot of interesting stuff coming through. So I'm interested to see how it applies to you in your life. On the next day, Mercury will trine Neptune. Mercury will trine Neptune, 20 degrees, 20 degrees. So not only are we realizing the themes that will be important to us for this eclipse on the 18th, the day before, our mind is being opened. It's literally being forced. Like if you didn't allow your mind to become pliable before that, Neptune is just going to like dissolve the whole thing, dissolve the boundaries, dissolve what you think that you know. I feel like this is going to be intense though, because Neptune, yes, and Pisces especially, is dreamy, it's soft, it's fantasy, it's beautiful, but this is Scorpio energy. So I literally see like Scorpio like stabbing swords like through the illusion, like literally just with that martial sword, like pushing through. So the realizations probably won't be comfortable in general. It's not going to be soft, dreamy Neptune. It's probably going to be more martial, veteran Scorpio, basically Hades. And also on this day, Venus and Capricorn will trine Uranus. So where the relationships were serving as the foundation in the beginning of the week, at this point, they're going to start shocking us and pushing us to open up our minds and to see things in a new way and making us very uncomfortable, basically. Helping us see truths that we just don't want to see at this point or ever. So on the 19th, let me stop sharing this and I will bring up the actual official full moon eclipse. How are you guys feeling? Let me know. I just want to feel better about just feeling so weird right now. Like everything, because everything is so wavy, reality just, I can literally see it like starting to move, and it's really hard to do the human stuff when, you know, everything I look at is like moving and not real anymore. It's just, it's intense. This is the actual full moon. Again, I'll be doing a live, so I don't want to talk about this too in depth. I really just want to get to the card reading, honestly, because that feels important. Venus will be still trine Uranus. Mars will be quincunx. So Mars is very busy. Mars will be quincunx Black Moon Lilith. There's Mars. Why isn't that drawn in? Oh, because, wait, I'm sorry. So it's actually going to, no, it will be quincunx. I don't know why that's not drawn in, but oh, because I don't have quincunxes up right now. So quincunx energy is frustrating. It's irritating. The whole theme of Virgo and Scorpio used to be one because they really represent two different sides of femininity that should have never been split, but they were split by the patriarchy. That is relevant now, especially with this irritating quincunx that Mars will be forming to Black Moon Lilith, which is the dark goddess. So with Virgo being the virgin and Scorpio being the consort, which if you think about those two concepts, that's really just defining women based on how they're having sex, basically, right? The virgin in the ancient times meant a woman unto herself, but that's not what it grew over time to mean. And Scorpio being the whore or the consort basically took femininity in its beauty and its wonderfulness and sacred sexuality and split them into two things and then inserted Libra between them to try to balance those two But those two things, like, they shouldn't be separate. They shouldn't exist. So I do think that those issues will be coming up now for this eclipse too. It's been like ruminating in my head. I just keep coming across it in like different astrology books and just coming across it online, how those two signs aren't supposed to be two separate things. So like, what's going to happen over time? Are we going to like just dissolve Libra and then like femininity will become whole again? Or like, how is that going to work? Are we just stuck this way forever? I don't know. Because Libra is like a real energy too. I was talking to my boyfriend about this. We're both Libras. He's at the end of the season, I'm at the beginning. And I definitely can see how like he's more Scorpio and I'm more Virgo, but like Libra is like a very definitive energy at the same time. Okay, Neptune will be quintile the North Node. There's a lot of quintile action going on, which is the 5-pointed star. This is Venus. This is creativity, literally magic, creating magic out of nothing. This is spiritual protection. I personally think when there's a lot of quintiles present during these kinds of events or ever, there are helper spirits that are coming in to assist some kind of process, maybe even acting as our protectors, because things can just get through right now. A lot of things, anything really can get through. So I'm very, very grateful for them. I don't know why they want to help us, but I'm happy that they want to. So thank you for that. Saturn is sextile Chiron, and Mercury is septile Venus. Oh, and Chiron is septile the North Node too. So septiles are portals, they're gateways, they're openings. I think this is literally the wormhole. I mean, Chiron, the wounded healer, is septile, creating an opening, a portal, a gateway to the North Node, where we're heading, like literally where we're going. So this, like, to me is like the actual literal astrological manifestation of how this is going to work, how lunar eclipses in general work. We start on one side and we end up on the other, which is cool. Anything else? So the next day, Mercury will square Jupiter, and then we also have Sagittarius season, which begins on Sunday. So let's talk about the cards right now, because I feel that's going to be a lot easier to talk about. Like, talking about the details right now, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like in the cloud. Yeah, so the cards were very interesting, you guys. So, and it kind of actually ties into why are you guys trying to do everything yourself? That's the first thing I want to say. So the 10 of Swords reversed. That burden that we've all been carrying for so long, like, we still don't even want to put it down, but it's like we have to now. Like, we don't have a choice, because it's just gotten so hard and so heavy to carry all those things yourself that you just have to. You have to put them down. You have no choice. You don't have any more energy, basically. In the past, I have the 5 of Swords, which is this creepy card, and the Queen of Pentacles. It's just, this makes me sad, because this makes me feel that for whoever's watching, it's like you are that grounding force for others, for other people. Like, you're very nurturing, you know how to help people, you're very practical and empathetic, deceptively empathetic, but people are just stealing your shit. You know, people are not treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. They're taking from you. And this is the past though, okay? But there's still something that needs to be worked on and healed of why this keeps happening. People that don't respect you, people that don't appreciate you, that are just deceiving you. And you're not stupid, you're very intelligent. So you know that this is happening, but for some reason it's still kept happening in the past. And this is very deeply rooted. It's not just the recent things, it goes like way, way, way deeper. I think that just froze a little bit. I also pulled, oh my God, I don't know how to say this word. the Hierophant, but it's reversed. And also the Strength card reversed. So Strength card reversed, it doesn't mean that you aren't strong. Strength. See how she's like taming the lion? And this is kind of like it's supposed to be like a priest, with like his followers in front. So this is really interesting, those keys on the bottom. I just saw, who was it? I'm gonna have to double check, but somebody just posted about a video they're doing about the gene keys with that exact symbol. I'll post it below. It almost, those symbols look very interesting too. It almost looks like the, is it the Hades or the Poseidon symbol? It's gonna be, I don't know if you probably can't see it, but on those keys in the bottom center, there's these symbols that look like, is it the Hades? It's either Hades or Poseidon in Uranian astrology symbol. I'll have to look into that. So let's start with this one, reverse, the priest. Traditions are dying. Oh, too bad. Traditions that just aren't working anymore are dying. This is like when tradition and structure and rules, and I see this as very Saturnian, when that kind of stuff, I think this is actually the Taurus card too. That kind of stuff, if taken too far, ends up destroying itself anyway. It's like an old building that you refuse to change, you refuse to make any changes to for hundreds and thousands of years. It's going to crumble. It's never going to last that long. So when people, when institutions, when things, they stick to that structure because this is the way it's always been, this is the way that works, we don't change these things, they just end up destroying it anyway. That's why like Saturn and Uranus, like they need each other. You have to have the tradition, you have to have the foundation and the structure, but you also need Uranus to like refresh it, to get rid of things that aren't working. Like you have to have that, like both of those things, the foundation and the movement too, because it'll just self-destruct. So when I see this reverse, I think it's just like taken way too far, like certain traditions, structures. It's a very religious card too, but I just see this in general as like Taurus status quo, just taking it way too far. It could be even like materialism or thinking about things in a way that's just too much. And also, this is like a priestly card. And actually what he's holding, I don't know the exact meaning of that, but that's like the cross of Saturn, literally. So this has something to do with materialism. And when it's reversed, obviously that cross becomes inverted, but there's also 3 crosses on his robe that become inverted too. So without getting all like freaked out about that, really like it makes me think of the Devil Tarot card, which is just about, not always, but in my experience, it's materialism gone to excess. So like addictions and being too attached to those things, which anything in material reality, anything Saturn in excess just becomes a very bad thing, whether it's drugs, alcohol, shopping, food, all of that stuff done in excess is no good. And strength reverse though, see, it's not as severe as the Devil, but there's like some elements there, I think. Strength card reverse is not bad at all, actually. There's definitely hope because you are strong, but you just don't see it right now because of all this other stuff, because of these burdens that are literally just like crushing you, it feels like right now. So you are strong and you still have to keep working, but it's just not being fully realized right now because something's holding you back, something that's stuck in the past, something that's traditional, structured. Like dive into that stuff. If you grew up religious, like take a serious look at that right now and see how some of those beliefs might not be serving you anymore if you're not religious anymore. And I got the 8 of Pentacles as well. So this is a very like Taurus kind of energy reading, which is working, becoming the craftsman. So like literally perfecting your art of whatever your craft is. Focus on your craft. I've been saying that lately, but seriously, it's time. Stop focusing on other people's dreams, other people's crafts of what they want to do. Like F that. Focus on yourself, do what you want to do. That's all that matters. Like we are not going to be here forever. Like we aren't. We could literally be gone tomorrow. And it's time to let go of that crap. Like stop feeding someone else's dream, feed your own dream, do your own craft. Like who cares what other people think? Who cares if it's not traditional? Like just do it. Okay. So I also have the 8 of Swords reversed, which, this card is really interesting because you can see all 8 swords in this picture. So what is she bound to? she's just bound to herself. She did it to herself, basically. The swords are the mind and the intellect. So basically her own ideas and thoughts are keeping her trapped normally, but when it's reversed, this is like choosing to see the truth for what it is and untying yourself from that mess. So again, heavier undertones, but I see it as being a good thing. I also pulled the Queen of Wands reversed and the King of Swords upright. I don't know what to say about this, to be honest. I do think that masculine energy is still in excess right now and it's imbalanced. I also pulled the Three of Cups reversed. Okay, we're coming back to this again, you guys. And also the Nine of Pentacles reversed. What the heck is going on? Okay, so with the Three of Cups reversed, I see this as, are you celebrating your victories? Oh my gosh. Are you guys being really hard on yourselves right now? Not appreciating what you have, not seeing all that you have, but also not celebrating your victories. Just because you're not like this epitome of perfection and success. Like, am I talking to you guys or talking to myself? But just because you're not this idea of perfection, of success that you think you should be, doesn't mean that you can't celebrate the little things and like actually enjoy yourself and have fun, laugh. When's the last time you laughed? Watch like videos of like people getting hurt or whatever you do to make yourself laugh. Do those things right now, because it's so serious right now. And I can definitely feel that like collective heaviness and fear. Like feeling that fear has been really hard for me lately. Nine of Pentacles reversed. You have everything you need. It's already there. And actually it's interesting. Oh, I thought this was the Mars symbol on her coat here. Usually this is like the card of abundance, and it's not that you don't have abundance, but it's hard to like utilize that properly or to save what you need to save when you're coming from a space of fear and you're not actually enjoying your life. Does that make sense? I also pulled this card. This is like a random deck that somebody got me. There are, well, these are actually foxes. There's two foxes. There's a phoenix on the top and also a hummingbird. Isn't that beautiful? It's a painting. Someone did these paintings for all of these cards, and then there's like little descriptions on the back. So this is a phoenix up here. There's two foxes and there's a hummingbird like right in the center. Just seeing what else there is. Oh, and it also says, this is interesting, right there. It says the 5 elements: air, fire, water, earth, spirit. That's really interesting. But the card is basically about travel. It's the 15th card. It's about traveling, not just physical travel, but like getting outside of yourself, finding your life's purpose, taking a journey. That's what it's really about. And I pulled a bunch of archetype cards as well. Gnosis, the Mirror, the King, a lot. The Lover, and then finally the Bardo. Okay, I mean, this is pretty obvious. Okay, the Mirror, this is calling to me first. The Mirror, for some reason. That song, Tommy by The Who, there's a lot of songs about the mirror, but they're like, go to the mirror, boy, and he like sees his reflection and smashes it. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. There's something about the way that you see yourself. It's not true. I don't think it's like the way that other people see you. Like other people see you as this like beautiful, sparkling, starry beauty, but you only see yourself as like a fragment of all that you really are. So there's definitely some like inner child self-work, I think, that needs to take place. The King, the Lover, power dynamics, power and control, Scorpio, betrayal, things like that are coming into play. The Bardo is really, you know, in my opinion, it's death. It's the dark place. It's the underworld in a way. And this looks like an eyeball too. So with these skulls surrounding it. it's almost like the way that you see yourself needs to die, and you have to start seeing yourself differently for all that you are, instead of just seeing yourself as a shard. That actually makes me really sad, because you only see one little part of yourself, and you're so focused on that you're missing like the rest of this beauty for what it is. Gnosis, the king, and the lover. Again, I'm feeling those elements of like appreciating your life, appreciating beauty. Now with the king, this makes me think of ancient Ireland and how the kings that they chose were always in right relationship with the other world, which is the fairy realm. So the only way that they could maintain their power and be successful was if they were in right relationship with the other world, with the spirits and the deities there. And if they weren't, that would be reflected in the outside. So that would be reflected in how well the crops grew, how happy the people were. So if there was famine or something, they would straight up blame it on the king. Like, you're not in right relationship, we're going to kill you and pick a different king. So in my opinion, I see this as like all of the chaos that's happening right now, like in the country, in the world, it's because we have like shitty leaders. I hope your kids are around, I'm sorry. It's because we don't have good leaders. You know, if the people at the top are full of darkness and selfishness and toxicity, the whole system is never going to work. So what do? You know, we can't change them. They have like their own thing going on. It has like nothing to do with us. They want us to think that it has something to do with us. The only thing it has to do with us is like our slave labor, I think, basically, because I personally believe that like no matter who we vote for, it's not going to do anything because they just don't care about us. So what do? I think we flip it upside down. We do our own thing and we start building in strength together. What are they going to do when they're based on nothing but like hateful hatred and just not good stuff? And then we're coming together as one, and none of this like you versus you or like us versus them. Like, what if we really let go of that and like became one and became really strong together? I think if enough of us did that, it would force them to have to change. I don't think blaming each other is going to get us anywhere good. I know some people can't have their minds changed and they can't be helped, and that goes for both sides. Like they just can't come into the middle. But I do think that if we could have different beliefs and like come together, we would be so strong enough to be able to change what's out there if we even care to. Okay, Gnosis. The way that I see Gnosis is just like your personal Gnosis, like how you experience the spirit realms, how you experience life itself and like all the magic that is woven in there. So this is very personal. It's very personal. It's very deep, and there's power dynamics playing. What are you giving your power to? And if you don't want to give your power to those things, how are you going to stop it? How are you going to make that disconnect and decide that you just don't want to play into those things anymore? There was one point in my timeline where the Morgan pretty much said, like, you can't say that you're against something, but then still be feeding into it. Something along those lines. I know there's like gray area with that, but there was something along those lines that she said to me. And I'm like, that's true. You really have to disengage from that system that you don't agree with, or the beliefs or whatever it is. You have to like literally separate yourself. It doesn't mean you have to hate people. It just means that you have to like not utilize them for your own selfish purposes. Well, you know what I mean? Like you can still be a part of the system and like be in the matrix, because like we kind of have to be in some ways, but you have to create that separation of like disengaging, separating yourself from the things that you don't agree with, not putting your money in things that are doing unethical things, stuff like that. That's the stuff that really makes the difference. And even though that seems like, you know, like peasant stuff, it seems like peasant stuff, at the same time, it's like, that's what really matters in the end, because money is energy and attention is energy and fear is energy. So if we can really reel it in and become strong within ourselves and with each other, I think we can really change things. It's going to take time, but it might not take as much time as you think, especially with the eclipse. Okay. All right. So I will see you guys the day before the eclipse. I will do the live at 6 p.m. Central Time. So that's when I will do it, before the eclipse. Is that enough time though? I'm not good with it, but I try to do my rituals and stuff like close to when the eclipse is happening. So I think it might be better to actually do the live on Wednesday. So that will be 2 days before, just because the eclipse is so early in the morning in the US on Friday. So it would almost be better to like do your magic and stuff Thursday night. So I think what I'm gonna do is have the live 6 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I will see you on Wednesday. Okay, bye.